comes folded in half. That's just the way it comes to be able to fit well on the bolt. And all of my patterns say cut on fold. And the most important thing you need to know right now is that when it says cut on fold, it does not mean the fold that is already here. Because if you do that, let's say you're going to lay this on the fold, that means we're going to have to actually turn this over here this way, because this is where the fold is, then you're going to waste all this fabric over here. So the first thing you have to do is you have to create your new fold, and that you want it to be the size of the piece so that you don't waste any more fabric than you have to. Then I would lay it to where the part that says lay on fold is on the fold, okay? Now if I had folded it from that side, then this could be face up to where I can read it. But I folded this side. Some people pin their patterns down because the paper wants to roll up, and I prefer to just lay something heavy on it to hold it down while I cut out the fabric. Now, in this size, it is small enough, this piece is small enough that you can see it lands perfectly on the half mark. So because it lands perfectly on the half mark, we could save ourselves some time and cut out both of these body pieces at the same time. And so what we would do is we would actually go, oh, well, that was exactly perfect. So then we would take our regular fold that's already there from where it came off the bolt. We would fold it in half. Make sure that it's very flat. You do not want wrinkles or creases, because then those will make your lines not be perfect. When you cut the fabric, you'll have like a jagged edge. And then, you see, lay that on the fold, and I can cut out both the front and the body at the same time. So then what I would do is I would go and I would cut this way, then I would cut up, just following the edge of the paper. So that is for my small size. And then that's just cutting out the body. Let's move up to another size. It's just a little bit bigger, but it's just big enough that now it won't fit in half of your fabric. And in this case, what you do is you do not cut both the front and the back, both body parts at the same time. Instead, you cut the body on one side, and then you fold over this side for cutting out the sleeve. And this way, you will waste the least amount of fabric possible. So again, on fold. So I will lay this down. I will put weights on it. If I want, I can pull this out even further so that this piece fits that sleeve piece perfectly, and that piece fits that body piece perfectly. So I would lay this down, cut out my body part, then cut out my sleeve part, then I would keep nicely folded because it's at a perfect width for both the sleeve and the body. And when I'm done cutting those two out, then I would slide this down and cut the next one so that I have 2 sleeves and 2 body parts. And now I'm going to show you a larger size. So what's going to happen if you have a larger size is, let's see with this size, I can't remember. Once you do this size, you do not have, you don't have enough fabric there for your sleeve, okay? So this larger size now doesn't leave you enough for a sleeve there, but we still try to save our fabric as much as possible so we still make our own fold. We don't use the fold that came with the bolt. So now this one, you're going to have to use a lot more fabric because you have to make your body, and then your sleeves from this, and when you make your sleeve, you'll fold it over to be the right size for the sleeve. Okay, so I cut out my body or the front and back, and I cut out the arms. Now what I have left is 2 hoods, 2 cuffs, and 2 pockets. Now, sometimes you're running out of fabric, and so I always recommend that you cut out 1 hood and 1 pocket before you cut out the second hood and the second pocket, because you can always line the hood with a different fabric, and you can always line the pocket with a different fabric if needed. Not only that, you can move the fabric around. You don't have to cut it in this direction for the inside. So I've laid my hood here. It's always important once you are dealing with an uneven edge that you know, okay, yes, this works. I could even bring this up a little bit more, but you don't want to cut on the front and you have fabric on the front but not have fabric on the back, okay? Because things can be different. Okay, so now, and the other thing is, you may have noticed that when I laid this out, I had the cuff piece sitting here. It's because the cuff piece usually fits pretty perfectly in this little spot. As long as you have fabric under both ends, then it'll fit. So I'm going to keep that fabric together. Plenty of fabric. If I needed to, I could cut it from over there. But I want to show you how you can conserve on your fabric. Okay, so now, this is the one piece that you do not cut on a fold, and you're just cutting two of these rectangles out at the same time. So now my cuffs are done, and I have 1 hood. Now, because I have all this fabric, I'm not even going to worry about my cutting my pocket out first. You can kind of gauge. You can go, oh dear, I'm running out of fabric. I better cut out my pocket first. My next, my first pocket before I go on to my second hood. Okay, so I'm going to cut out my second hood. I now have my 2 hoods cut out. And now I'm going to cut out my 2 pockets. And since I had plenty of fabric, and the pocket is a flat bottomed thing, I'm going to cut the pocket from down here, lay this here. Now, this pocket has a little odd edge here. So sometimes when I made my pockets, there's all different kinds of ways of making your pockets. You can make a rounded bottom even if you feel like it. So this one that I'm going to make is going to have that edge. But this next pocket that I'm making doesn't necessarily have to have that edge. I can make it have a regular edge. And then if I feel like it, I can round it. I can do other things with the pocket. So now I have all the pieces for this Atikłuq, and I have all this extra fabric, which it's always good to have because if you make some big horrible mistake, it's always good to have some backup fabric to get yourself out of that pickle.